Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV and welcome to East Anglia for the latest race meeting in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. This is races 52, 53 and 54 coming to you from the Snetterton 300 circuit in Snetterton, Norfolk. Joining me in the commentary box for the three races that we've got coming up today, along with the reverse grids and all the other action that's going to unfold, it's Marco Barbanera. Marco, welcome. It's a very technical circuit, Snetterton 300. Have you had much experience driving around this circuit? And if so, what's your thoughts of this track?
Well, I showed my, first of all, hello everybody and good evening. I showed my incompetence at the driving behind the wheel on Tuesday and the MX5 BSR Championship. In the 4 races there, I had my fair share of mistakes, including a couple of boned moves at the chicane after the bridge. It's a very, very tricky corner, especially the part that's been added to the 200 layout, basically. So Hamilton and all the other corners there, they seem so easy on paper, but when you actually get there, you really need to make the car work and flow through those corners. And I think we are going to see 3 great races. And also I'm looking at the weather. You would really love, guys, to have this kind of weather in the UK right now, I think.
It is pretty bad. I've just been playing football and I'm absolutely drained after that. It is quite hot. We were promised some thunderstorms today, but they failed to materialise as well. Definitely no rain here today, though, at Snetterton, even though the overcast conditions do look ominous. Maybe that's a feature we can have soon, iRacing. Qualifying's just coming to an end. We're running through the grid in a moment. But first, we've got some championship standings to fill you in on. It's Northern Lights Racing GT Omega 1-2 at the moment in the Drivers' Championship. It's Stephen Baxter leading the way, 175 points ahead of his teammate Nicole Foggy. Dave Baker has now moved into 3rd position in the standings and is ahead of Wojciech Svidovic. Then it's Pete Harrod in 5th for CQR, then 6th is Ross McFarlane. 7th, Jamie Rushworth, who got his first win of the season last week. That vaulted him up to 7th. Then it's Mark Whithouse in 8th, 2-time champion Kip Stevens in 9th. Those 2 drivers are AMs, so they'll be fighting for the AM category championship as well. And Jack Sedgwick rounds out the top 10. Over in the AM category, we just mentioned them. Woodhouse and Stevens, top 2. Then Chris Wood in 3rd. Then it's Laidler, Sakovic, Paul Smith, Adam Hadfield, Michael Blake, Dan Brown and Adam McNally. Then over in the Teams Championship, it's CQR by a country mile at the moment. And there's plenty of country round here. Then it's Northern Lights GT Omega, Apex Racing, Team Mad, CQR and Northern Lights Racing Scuderia Haggis in 6th, Boosted 7th, Sim Auto 8th, Automech Knockhill 9th and Vortex in 10th with Youth Energy towards the rear. Right, we are now gridding up, so we will move away from the scenic cam and get down to the grid because it is Sven Glatzel that's starting on the pole position for this one. And the first corner here, Marco, it can invite the odd move up the inside, and with the field so closely bunched together at the start of the race, it's going to be pretty interesting this first corner in all 3 races.
Yeah, especially the bump you have on the inside of that first corner is going to be very, very tricky. So gotta be careful there, and hopefully no one gets out of the way.
It's one of our shorter laps. Well, it's a long lap when you run the 300 layout, short when you run the 200. We're running the 300 today, and it's Sven Glatzel that starts on the pole. Then it's Svidovic in 2nd. Whenever I've been doing broadcasts, Apex seems to have got their act together, so we'll see if they can do it here today, but they've got to beat the GT Omega cars. Then it's Nicole Foggy 3rd, Stuart McFadden 4th, 5th Ross McFarlane, 6th Stephen Baxter, Championship leader. Then Ash Sutton will be racing here either this week or in a few weeks as the British Touring Car Championship celebrates its 60th year. Then it's Chris Wood, then Jack Sedgwick, then Jamie Rushworth, who won last week, George Simmons in 11th, and Craig Evans in 12th. We've just got a bit more time. 13th on the grid is Nathan Davis, then Pete Harrod, Martin Front, Michael Hall, Alex Simpson in the midfield there in 17th, then Christian Rose, Will Daniels, and Jack McIntyre in 20th. That is, I think, as much of the grid as we're going to be able to do, because there is Sven Glatzel, and there is Svidovic right alongside him. So we can get a bit closer to the start here. I think that's probably as good as we're going to get. And when the 5 lights go out, we're going to be racing here at Snetterton for the first race today. Away we go. It's going to be very interesting to see who leads into this first corner. Svidovic slots into 2nd place straight away as we go into the first corner. Watch out for Stuart McFadden on the outside as well. Fantastic start by the CQR Academy driver. He might just get it done here. That's going to be very close. Around the outside goes the youngster, the young Scotsman. And now we're going into Wilson, the hairpin. There's a Northern iRacing Scuderia Haggis car off of the back. Savinovic up into second position, or take second place back, I should say. And more contacts, Marco.
Yeah, contact there, but hopefully I see everybody has got their car straightened up, so no major crashes there, and everybody is trying to go now to the infield section, as we can call it, to the technical corners I was talking about in the beginning.
Look at all those cars, you can just about see them. Savinovic up the inside for the lead. This is probably one of the key overtaking points on the circuit. GT Omega's Nicole Foggy is trying to get back in the mix as well. He could be up the inside of Stu McFadden here if he plays his cards right going into the left-hander here. No way through there. Glatzel running a bit wide. May pick up an off-track if he does that. I can't really remember how strict the track limits are. It's McFadden sideways. And that's going to allow Foggy up the inside, Marco.
Yeah, mistake there. Now, of course, you need to master this corner here and then get the best exit you possibly can for this straight and set up for the... I called it the chicane, but in reality it's not really a chicane. It's a double corner, and it's so tricky as we go almost 3 wide under the bridge.
Into the left-hander. Apologies if you can't hear game sound. I think I've got it turned on. Might turn it up a bit, actually. If you can't still hear that, we might get it repaired for race 2. But anyway, McFadden up the in, trying to hold it out around the outside through the bomb hole now. And now through the long right-hander going into the final corner, Murray's, and McFadden able to slot into that 5th position. Good start by Ash Sutton, by the way. There he is. He's up to 4th place. Saw that down the straight. Now we're coming onto the front straight now to complete the opening lap as we speed by the pit lane. And Sven Glatzel, this has got off to a perfect start for him. But it looks like, Marco, it's going to be those two. Glatzel and Savinovic, they're going to be leading from the front now as they start to edge out a gap.
It looks like that, yeah, absolutely, and we see now the gaps on our screens on the left side. Of course, this first race tends to be the most calm of the 3 we have, because we have the qualifying session beforehand and we can see the true speeds shown by the drivers. So, you know, you have to maximize your chances. If you're one of the top drivers, you know you have to make as little mistake as possible in this first race, because you know you're going to be fighting hard in the second and third one.
Well, Graham's the first car of the day to suffer. He's had to tow back to the pits. Dan Brown might have issues as well, I think, so problems for those guys at the back. You can see the positions gained after the opening few laps, after the opening lap. Michael Hall, one of the big movers. Dave Baker up to 20th place as well. He's gained 5 spots, so very good job there, and you can hear Sven Glatzel sliding his way through the first corner, using up all that tyre life. I think, Marco, if we get a really hot race where the track temperature is going to be in the 40s, the tyres are really going to get punished around here.
Yeah, I remember we had one race at Imola earlier in the season when race 1 was like this and race 2 was so cold. We see a little mistake there. I think it was Foggy, yeah, going into the grass and losing 1 position to Ash Sutton, so now he's in P3. So it's going to be tricky if we get a hot race in race 2, and who knows?
Yeah, wait and see on that one. Could be pretty interesting. There is a replay of Nicole Foggy's excursion through the right-hander, and there's the swipe sound as well. We'll get used to that. Coming out of the final corner then to complete the second lap, you can see the intervals now as we come across the line. Glatzel over the line does a 1:53.6. Savinovic 53.7, 53.8 for Ash Sutton. It's not totally inconceivable that he could catch up to these guys as well. Very familiar with this circuit. Did pretty well around this one, I think, in his championship year, if I remember correctly. Now into Wilson, the right-hand hairpin. The 200 layout will go off to the left, but we go onto this 300 layout, this infield section. Do you have a preference of layouts, Marco? Do you prefer the slipstream and then we get on the 200, or do you prefer this extra technical section, which probably could open up a few more overtaking opportunities?
I love the 200 layout. I think it's very nice, but I am a Skip Barber driver, or usually on iRacing, so I think that suits better the Skippy. But this 300 is so difficult. Looks, again, so easy on paper, but when you race there, you know, sometimes you can get a little bit discouraged because you see these corners, okay, flat track, left, right, but then again, when you go there and you see also this gravel on the outside of the corners, you put 2 wheels there, basically you risk going severely off the track and lose a lot of time, and I'm not talking about the off track, of course, those are even worse. So for smaller cars, the 200 I think is better, but the 300 it's I think really good for these great drivers that are racing here tonight in the BSRTC.
Running on board here with Alex Simpson. He's sat in 15th place. He got a win the last time I think I was doing a broadcast on here, and he's currently chasing Craig Evans. That is the AM car in front. You can see that by the yellow and black writing on the back of the number plate, and also because on the timing screen you can see that his name has got a green stripe next to it. So if you're new to the BSRTC, that's one way of identifying who's fighting for the Drivers' Championship and who's fighting for the AM category. Someone might have just run a bit wide on the exit there in front of them as they come out of the final corner to tick off lap 3.
Yeah, we're having, of course, a timed race in this first one to get a sense of how many laps we're going to have in race 2 and race 3, which are going to be around the 20-minute mark, but with a precise number of laps. It usually works this way in the BSR organized series, and I think it's a great idea. On board with William Daniels right now, sitting in P18, and you see, basically there's no time to rest in between corners. You have cars in front of you, cars behind you, and the battle there in front for first position, I think, is really heating up with I think Sviridovic's trying to move on the inside of Glatzel there. Sviridovic's again the apex car, now he has the outside, so he has to wait a bit, and of course Sutton is getting closer and closer.
Oh no, is that a slowdown or something?
Oh, slowdown, yeah, I know that corner very well. I got a slowdown when I was sitting in 3rd position on Tuesday in race 4 in the first lap, so you know it's a big slowdown there. Not as big as in lap 4 we are right now, but he's going to pay the price for that, I think. That's a major no-no, especially with the field so tightly bunched like it is right now.
What did you have to do to pick up a slowdown there? I didn't see where he'd done it. Did he go wide through one of the corners? Do you pick up a slowdown if you do that?
If you cut, there's the double right-hander. Right. If you go a little bit on the inside of the first one, it's permitted. You go 1 centimeter more to the right and you get absolutely smashed with a big slowdown.
Well, I guess it's the MSA off-track system here, isn't it? Some tracks like Brands Hatch, you can go all 4 wheels off and not even get an off-track, and then circuits like this, circuits like Kota, you can do the slightest thing, you either get an off-track or you get a slowdown penalty. Svidovic leads then. The Apex Racing driver now hits the front, but now he's got his old adversary in Ash Sutton right behind him. Sutton, who's gained 5 positions since the start of the race. And now we're going to see whether Nicole Foggy can close back up to them again. He's got his teammate, sorry, Sven Glatzel can close back up to them again. He's got his Northern Ice Racing teammate and Nicole Foggy just in front of him. And I think we've got a close battle behind in one of the... I think Alex might have just got past Craig Evans. We'll have a quick look at a replay, and there we go. That was Alex up the inside. Either that or it was Craig Evans trying to get through, but I think it was Alex getting by Craig. So Alex up to 14th now.
Yeah, but now Craig, you see, trying to make himself big in the mirrors of car number 2. He has to wait a bit. Nice move there at the hairpin. It's one of the premium passing spots, as we see even more passing here in the back of the pack.
Yeah, this is Ashley Blake Cood. We've also got Dacoba Lopez in here, former BSRTC champion. And I think we've got Barry Morrison in here for good measure as well. A bit of damage, that's expected when you're in the midfield. And these guys will be fighting for the positions for the starting positions for race 2 when we get the reverse grid out. So battle for the lead is rejoined. It's Sutton going for the lead up the inside of Svidovic. Oh my word, that was very close. And he's going to go for the cutback here. This is the bomb hole. This is the right-hander. Up the inside. Svidovic. They touch a little bit. Oh, that was very close, Marco. And now they're going to be wheel-to-wheel through the right-hander. That's going to be brave.
Yeah, and Foggy is coming back, and so is Glatzel. So they have to be very careful, not make any kind of contact, otherwise they could be losing positions to the 2 guys behind them, or should I say to the 5 or 6 guys behind them, because there's a huge train of cars now. As the leaders are battling, of course, everybody is catching up to them. Nice move by Sutton. It goes on the inside. Brave move. Wow. Can he make it stick? Oh, they touch.
Here comes Glatzel up the inside of Foggy. Svidovic is up the inside of Sutton again. Sutton moves across. He thought he was clear. Either that or we tried to get Svidovic to get out of it. He's moving across again. Oh, he is there, Ash. And Sutton is into the lead again. Savinovic up the inside though. He's going to try and get it done. They rub again.
He has the inside, the defending champion. Oh, deep on the brakes is Sutton. It's, some great racing. 2x2x2. Seems like a NASCAR race here. Amazing racing.
BSRTC champion versus British touring car champion. Sutton to the outside. What a move around the outside that is. Up the inside then. Sutton will have the preferred line. And surely Savinovic can't hang it out around the outside. I think he's going to though. He's...
Oh, they touch again!
I thought Sutton was clear, but he just wasn't. And now they go through Williams and onto the Bentley straight. And it's still, I think Glatzel and Foggy have been 2x2 for about the whole that 300 section. Now they go into single file. And it's Sutton, it's now in the lead again. 6 positions gained. We've got 9 minutes of this still to go, Marco.
Wow, that was some great racing by all these guys at the front. And they're not over, and a little bit of a touch there from Foggy to Sviridovic. And that will, of course, get the defending champion a little bit wide. Give a little bit of room for Sutton to try to build a gap on P2. And we see now Foggy has jumped his teammate and is in P3 right now. So it's all happening at the front. We'll see if Sutton will be able to build a gap now that he has clear track ahead in the first position. And
all of a sudden we've got 9 cars all within a few seconds of each other. That's not really helped matters. There you go. There's the front 4. Sutton, Savinovic, Foggy and Glatzel.
I love the fact that there's no barrier on the left side here. Basically, if you go straight, you go in somebody's field. Or you fall down in the infinity below in iRacing if you go too much to the left and straight to the pits.
Yeah, could do a good job of cutting the crops, I guess. I think there is a few things out there. I don't know how far you can go off. I haven't really tried it, but into the hairpin we go. Top 8 separated by just 2 seconds. That's how close things are after 2/3 of the race. We've got just over 6 minutes to go here in the opening race of the day. Of course, we've got the reverse grid still to come. It's probably going to be a trait of this circuit and probably mid-Ohio next week, where the fields are going to be so close and there's only going to be a few tenths of a second between each car. So onto the back straight we go again, and Savinovic probably not close enough yet. The Bentley straight, it's probably the same layout, the same length it was when it was on the 200, but I don't think it's long enough for Savinovic to close up immensely onto the back of Sutton.
No, it's not. I think he has to focus on getting this corner right and get a good exit, and maybe get as close as possible to the final corner, and then trying to get a move done into turn 1, especially. But you know, Foggy is so close to him that he also has to worry about what's going on behind. So, you know, the great drivers only watch in front of them and not behind them. But you see the huge train of cars there. So you make one mistake and you lose like 10 positions or so. So you gotta be very, very careful there. 7 minutes to go. So got a few more laps left.
They're up through the first corner then. Now to Wilson, the hairpin. Savinovic is closer this time. Sutton's wise to that move, moves across. Look how late Glatzel is on the brakes. Nearly flies into the back of Foggy. Foggy hits Wojciech, and Glatzel's all over the place. May pick up a slowdown.
Yeah, Glatzel is very, very slow. He had a terrible corner entry and a dreadful exit. And now he's lost, I think, contact almost 1 second between himself and the car in front, Nicole Foggy. So this could be the break that the 3 leaders were waiting for, to get a little bit of free space and not worry too much about the guys behind them. Don't think Glatzel got a slowdown, but yeah, that was a terrible entrance into the corner, terrible exit. These two things, of course, are linked together. You need to be very, very careful there. And this is the corner that you cannot cut on the inside, basically. There's pavement on the inside, but you cannot use it. I have no idea why. You can use it a little bit, but not much.
Lap 8 then at the BSRTC opening race of the day. Sutton leads Savinovic. Very close indeed there, again going through right-hander Brundle and Nelsons. And now McFadden is under pressure. He's got Ross McFarlane right behind him. Jack Sedgwick in should be an Apex Racing car. I think he's Well, it says Apex Racing on the timing anyway. Still not too sure what team he drives for, but now we go on board with Ross McFarlane, driving for Northern Lights Racing GT Omega. He's got Stuart McFadden, the youngster in front, who has won many races in World GT and this as well, the BSRTC. And he currently sits in 5th position as we go across the line onto lap 9. This corner, tyres crying out there and try to clip that curb to get the second apex, and going into Wilson's again. Sutton and Savidovic still very close indeed from as we cut the hairpin. Wonder if Savidovic might have something up his sleeve for when we get to the closing stages of this race, because as it's such a long lap marker, we aren't going to get too many more laps around here with 4 minutes to go. Maybe 2 more?
Yeah, I was expecting Sutton to get a little bit of a gap there, but it's not looking like this. Kudos to Savidovic because he's keeping the gap very, very close, and I think he's waiting. We know we don't have a lot of passing opportunities here, so you have to be very, very careful, and maybe he's waiting, wants to make a power move on the final lap. We have seen that these guys, we know that these guys will not hold back. They've been eating each other in the previous laps for the entirety of the lap, basically every corner, so they are not shy in that compartment, and I think that Wojciech will try a move. It's going to be a big move. Will power himself through Sutton if he wants to make the pass. I think that's the only way, but of course we cannot forget about Foggy sitting there in P3. He's very, very dangerous, very, very fast, and he has a chance at this too.
Any 3 of these drivers could win it. When we get to the line, there's going to be about 2.5 minutes to go, so that means we'll be starting the penultimate lap when we cross the line. Sutton hops over that inside curb, uses a bit of the AstroTurf on the exit. Don't think Savidovic is close enough this time to pick up a tow. Nicole Foggy might be able to do something about that second place though. Over the line, Sutton does a 1:53.6, 1:53. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong time. 55.4, I should say, for Sutton. 55.3 for Wojciech. On the brakes again, into the right-handed mark.
Defending line here at the hairpin, Wojciech has a much better line through the first two corners basically, and then at the hairpin you see Sutton had to go very, very defensive there, so he knows the threat that Wojciech is posing right behind him, again using the AstroTurf here, and Foggy is waiting there. Glatzel is in a bit of a no man's land at the moment, sitting in P4 with a bit of a gap in front and behind. And I think all these 3 guys here are waiting for their chance.
This is the
just waiting and waiting.
This is the power of the BSRTC. We go to racetracks where there's just slipstreaming left, right and centre, like Watkins Glen, like Le Mans a few weeks ago, even Imola as well. Now we come to circuits like this where you've really got to be patient. In the background there, it looked like Alex Simpson might have been too wide with some drivers. Oh, it wasn't Alex, it was one of the Apex cars. I think it might have been Jack Sedgwick, but they all sort of settled out again. Back to the front, Sutton down the Bentley straight under the bridge. Savidovic closing in, but he could do with that extra runoff. Oh, he's hit him!
Oh no! Contact! And Sutton is out in the grass.
Now that is going to cause a few issues. We'll have a look at the replay at the end of the race. It's now going to be a 2-way scrap for the lead between Wojciech Savidovic and Nicole Foggy. Don't know what he's going to, whether Sutton's going to go to the stewards. He probably will about it, and whether Savidovic will get a penalty for the next race meeting. But either way, out of the final corner, the Apex car has the lead. Just from seeing it that one time, Marco, it looked like that Wojciech went into the back of him there.
Yeah, that looked like that. I'm waiting for a much better replay, and I think we'll see. Not for a replay, no. But we'll have to wait a bit because we are entering in the final lap. The white flag is in the air, and now it's Nicole Foggy trying to gain. He's already got 1 position at P2 from this crash, and now Sutton once again in the grass there. It's gone from bad to worse for him. He's losing positions. Oh, another contact.
Yeah, I know we've been asked about not showing replays, but this is what happened here. Was that Alex?
Oh man!
I think that was Alex Simpson. Yes, it was. So Alex, might be careful on that one. We've riled up the CQR team enough already with Wojciech hitting Ash Sutton. Now of Alex Simpson hitting him as well going into the first corner. Don't know whether there was any animosity on Sutton's end. I think we'll see that on the Facebook group later. But Savidovic and Foggy. Northern Lights Racing GT Omega of Foggy versus Apex Racing UK and Wojciech Savidovic. And these two are now going to go at it for the lead. Marco going on to the back straight.
Yeah, Foggy was very close in the mid part of the lap, but now Wojciech has got a little bit of a gap here, and I think he should be good to the end. Foggy very, very deep on the brakes. Desperation time. Little bit of a mistake here, and he's wide. Let's see if Glatzel is wide as well. He will pass his teammate.
Indeed he does, yeah. Glatzel up into second place. That's Northern Lights GT Omega through into second. Glatzel was trying for the lead early, and you can see now Foggy desperately trying to get that second place back as well. Going through the penultimate corner. Don't think he'll do anything ambitious there on his teammates. One person that's played the waiting game pretty well here today, it's Wojciech Savidovic. He used a bit of force to get by Ash Sutton, and I wonder what the stewards will say about that one. But for now, he takes a checkered flag and wins the opening race of the day. Sven Glatzel finishes in second, Nicole Foggy third, Stuart McFadden fourth, Ross McFarlane fifth. Now, drag race to the line there. It's Craig Williams that's pretty close to Dave Baker. Baker's going to get 19th place. Kip Stevens also wheel to wheel with the Vortex car of... sorry, it's Will Daniels, isn't the Scuderia Haggis car, I think. Yeah, so that was very close at the line. I think it was Daniels that got 21st place in the end. Jake Blackhall, he's just a tenth of a second behind that Automech car. He's trying everything, even clips the wall as he crosses the line. He finishes in 32nd behind Scott Malcolm. And then Maciek Sakovic is half a second behind Max Wright. And he's not going to be able to get by the Automech Not Kill car either. So the last two cars we're waiting for are Boosted, Tyler Lugo Vickery and Dave Crozier as well. And then we'll run you through the results and have an in-depth look at what happened to what happened between Ash Sutton and Wojciech Savidovic in the race deciding moment. Over the line comes Lugo Vickery, and over the line comes Crozier. So as always, Marco, the first race of the day, it's always the quicker guys at the front, and it was immensely close between the top 10, just a few seconds between them in the end.
Amazing racing and also controversy, and when these guys are at their best in the front of the pack, we see some amazing racing. Too bad he had to end that way, and we'll see a replay, I think, in a few seconds. And but yeah, you know, it happens sometimes. It was very, very close racing, and I was pretty sure that it was what was going to be needed there was a power move, and that what was happening. Now we have the results on the screen for you.
Here we go then. Wojciech Savidovic wins the opening race of the day, 1.7 seconds ahead of Sven Glatzel in the end. Nicole Foggy did try his best to get the win, but ran wide after the Bentley straight and dropped behind his teammate. Stuart McFadden finishes in fourth with a bit of damage to the front of the car. He was able to hold back Ross McFarlane. And Jack Sedgwick finishing in sixth. Steve Baxter, championship leader, in seventh. Jamie Rushworth eighth. Pete Harrod ninth. 10th Nathan Davis. 11th for George Simmons. Alex Simpson finishing in 12th in the end. Craig Evans, the highest of the AMC drivers, in 13th. Then Martin Front, Michael Hall, Christian Rose, Ash Sutton finishing in 17th place in the end. Then 18th for Rusty Laidler. Then moving on further back, we've got 19th place Dave Baker. Then in 20th, Craig Williams. Will Daniels 21st, just ahead of Kip Stevens, just 300ths of a second in it. Then Adekova Lopez, the Iberian, for Vortex, finishing in 23rd. Then Michael Blake 24th, Mark Woodhouse, Barry Morrison, Tristan Boddice, Jack McIntyre, Adam McNally, Chris Wood in 30th. 31st for Scott Malcolm, 32nd for Jake Blackhall, 33rd Pete Newman, Jess Bedrelica in 34th. 35th for Mark Johnston, 36th for Max Wright, and then 37th for Maciek Sakovic, 38th Dan Brown, and then 39th for Tyler Lugo Vickery, Dave Crozier in 40th, and then the cars that didn't finish the race, only 3 of them, so very high, so very low attrition rate here. It was Michael Davis, Lee Deemer and Rob Graham, who all had issues at the start of the race. Right, time for the reverse grid, then we'll look at the replay. Now the organisers will be chomping at the bit to get the next session set up. Of course, 3 races today at Snetterton. And we will now get this reverse grid wheel set up. And
we could have a huge one with only a few cars not on the lead lap. The majority of the field is on the lead lap, so let's see.
Here we go. have had a few small ones the last few weeks, especially at Mo Sports in Canada. There it is, and let's spin it. Very close to being a small one, but it's going to be 35, and that will give, that will put actually, who will be on pole, Marco?
Oh, that's a good question, and I think 40 guys finished the race on the lead lap, so I think we will have Jasper Dlika in pole position, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and then Ash Blakehood in second, Pete Newman third, Jake Blackwell fourth, Scott Malcolm in fifth. Right then, the main talking point of this race then. I'll see if I can find it. Found the checkered flag. Found the white flag. Looking for the overtake of Savidovic. Here we go. Ashlerson went off the circuit. This is it then. Slow it down. Going into the right-hander, going into the left-hander at the end of the Bentley straight. Savidovic hits once, and because Sutton was turning, that was enough to send the CQR car off. I'll have another look for you from a better angle.
You see, he jumped on the curb there, Wojciech. So when he jumped on the curb on the inside, basically he lost control for a little bit, and basically then hit in the back of the car in front of him. So yeah, I think it's his fault, but he had that little moment where he had no control of his car basically, and that was I think what caused the contact. And you were right, because Ash Sutton was already turning his car was in a dynamic status, to say so. All it took was that bump, which was a significant one I think, and then his car went around.
Okay, well, drama in the opening race. I wonder what we've got coming up in the next two. Well, we're going to find out soon enough. After this break, we're going to be on the grid and getting set for the second race of the day in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship here at Snetterton. Welcome back to the BSRTC. A slightly longer warm-up than originally planned, but we're getting set for the second race of the day, another 20-minute race or so. Adam Bath and Marco Barbanera with you again in the commentary box. Jesper Drilica going to be starting on the pole position as we bring that up now. Second, Ashley Blake Hood. Third is Pete Newman, then Jake Blackhall, Scott Malcolm, then Chris Wood, then it's Adam McNally, then it's Jack McIntyre in 8th, Tristan Bodis 9th, Barry Morrison 10th, Mark Woodhouse 11th, then it's Michael Blake in 12th. 13th is Adeko Lopez, 14th Kip Stevens, and then 15th is Will Daniels, 16th is Craig Williams, then Dave Baker, Rusty Laidler, Ash Sutton, Christian Rose, and then 21st Michael Hall, 22nd Martin Front, then Craig Evans, Alex Simpson in 24th, George Simmons 25th, Nathan Davis starting in 26th, Pete Howard 27th, 28th is Jamie Rushworth, 29th Steve Baxter, and Jack Sedgwick is in 30th. See what Jesper Drilica can do. I wonder if Ashley Blake Hood can use his experience to help get him off the line. You can see Pete Newman and McNally and Adeko Lopez have all received pit lane starts. Away we go. Into the first corner, and it looks like it's going to be Jesper Drilica that's going to maintain the lead. But it's anyone's guess. Oh my goodness me. Drift, full-on drift through the first corner by both of them, and it's anyone's guess who's in the positions behind. Up the inside goes Jesper Drilica, Ashley Blake Hood to try and take the lead away, and he duly does. Jake Blackhall through into second position. Everyone trying to forge their wildest.
Crash behind.
Number 10, that is dropping down the time screen, that's Craig Williams. So problem for Craig Williams at the back. He's going to be rejoining at the back, and he might even... Oh, another car off. That's a Northern Lights Racing car. That's Martin Front in the Scuderia Haggis car with the Scottish flag at the top. He was off at the background. Now into the hairpin, the second of the major overtaking points, and Jesper Drilica trying to keep Jake Blackhall at arm's length. So go through the left-hander, the Australian in the CQ Academy car, going to go up the inside and take second place. Jesper Drilica down to third position after starting at the front, Marco, and what a drift between those two. Blake Hood and Drilica going for that first corner.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy, and I think I'm amazed at how those drivers were able to avoid any major issue there, because I thought, oh, look at that, there's a slowdown in the back, so cars are all over the place on the back, so it's going to be a huge problem here at the chicane, I think, trying to sort themselves out. I think they were going like 3-4 wide there. You see all the massive amount of cars there, almost like a traffic jam. Cars on the curbs doing the Barbanera move there. If you watch the MX5 race on Tuesday, hopping on that curb is not recommended there, and you see trying to sort themselves out, like I was saying, and we have like a little bit of a break in between the, I think, the first 6 to 7 cars, or maybe 8 cars, and then the rest of the grid.
Other line then to complete the opening lap. It's Blake Hood in the lead. Drilica up into second, and they touch. It's Blackhall and Drilica battling for the second place, and this is just going to allow Malcolm and Chris Wood to close in even more. It's Drilica that decides to yield for now, and Jake Blackhall maintains that second place. But that was very close to disaster going through that first corner in one of the fastest parts of the circuit, Marco.
Yeah, and we saw Malcolm there getting very, very close to the back of Drilica at the hairpin. Blake Hood trying to get a little bit of a gap there. It's not going to be easy, but as long as these guys are battling right behind him, he could be in a good position. Hood is in P5, so let's see. Everybody's trying to, plot into their position, as to speak, in the beginning of this reverse grid race. Of course, we had a massive reverse. We had 40 cars eligible for the reverse, and we got 35, and Ash Sutton is up in P8 right now. We are riding on board with him. Of course, he was starting a little bit further up front than his competitors for the title because of his race 1 crash, so he has a little bit of an advantage here. He's trying to get the most out of it. Lap 2 of 11 on the inside of Bottas. Let's see if he will complete the move here.
CQR versus Boosted. And it's CQR that's definitely up into 7th position. Next up is Barry Morrison in the Vortex car. That's in 6th place. And I wonder if it's totally inconceivable that he could win this one. Ash Sutton. It all depends about the pace that's being set at the front. by Ashley Blake-Hood and Jake Blackhall. It looks like Blackhall starting to get a little bit closer to Blake-Hood as we come out of the final corner to complete the second lap. You can see it's 11 laps now. We've worked out how many laps we can do in 20 minutes. And now we switch to a laps race. Over the line then, first lap's getting set. It's Blake-Hood doing a 54.8. 54.4 by Blackhall, half a second quicker, and he could have had a real opportunity going into the hairpin now, Marco.
Yeah, there's a great run on the inside. He has the preferred line here, needs to get a good exit and then cover the inside on the left-hander here, and I think he will be able to do that. He takes the lead, and he's looking at a clear track ahead, trying to put the gas pedal down and try to build a gap, because I think that in a matter of a couple of laps, maybe a little bit more, Ash Sutton will pick apart these guys one by one and try to get the race lead.
You can see how close Sutton is to the lead. That he's in the battle for first graphic that we've got up on screen. So he is coming. There he is in sixth position. He's going to go up the inside of the Team Mad car. He is. That's Chris Wood, I should say, with the British flag at the top. And Sutton goes through into fifth position now, and that's Morrison looking up the inside of the Team Mad car as well. That's Chris Wood in danger of losing 2 positions as Sutton leaves them in his wake. As we go down the back straight, you can just see them there, and looks like Chris Wood has been able to maintain his 6th position for now. But Sutton won't be looking backwards, he'll be looking forwards to Scott Malcolm in the... Oh, and off goes Blake Blackhall. Jake Blackhall is off, and he's going to emerge behind Ash Sutton, so that's Sutton up into 4th place. And Jake Blackhall, the race leader, could lose even more. Chris Wood up the inside going into the bomb hole, and we'll find out what happened in a minute. But as this continues, Jake Blackhall, who was in the lead, is now in danger of falling down to at least about 6th or 7th place as Wojciech Savinovic is out. What has happened to one of our championship contenders? We'll find that out in a moment. But what a disaster, what a crazy lap this has been, Marco.
Yeah, it's all going on. That corner there after the bridge is an absolute trap, and I think it caught our leader out. And when you lose positions, let's see. Oh yeah, strange crash. Usually you go too hard on the curb and you move on the outside there at the exit. But I think he did what Wojciech did in race 1. He hit the inside curb there a bit too hard and lost control of his car momentarily, and that's all it took for him to go out of the track.
There's that really bad bump. And I think if we go to Savinovic now, there he is.
Oh, so, sideways and big suspension damage.
So I'll see if I can find what happened here. I'm going to try. He's already off at this point. Might have happened earlier.
He had some major hit, I think, on the right rear of the car. Let's see.
Might already be gone by this point. He's going to get quarter panel by Rushworth. Oh, does that break? That breaks a lot. I think that breaks the left rear, you know. That's incredible how that's done there.
Wow. We see these cars are so sturdy and very well built. They take a lot of hits left and right, but that was all it took to take Wojciech out of the race.
I'm very sorry, because I know we've been told not to do too many more replays, but I just want to see if we can get a right rear. Right, we've got Jamie Rushworth here on. He's overlapped with us now, and then.
Yeah, that's all that took to get the suspension damage, I think.
Well, the good news is that not much has happened while we've been away. The only thing that's happened is that Ash Sutton's got by Scott Malcolm. He's now up into 3rd, 16 positions gained. Yes, Badrilica remains in 2nd, and Ashley Blake-Hood has a half a second advantage at the front of the race as we come around to complete lap 4. Chris Wood running a bit wide in the background. You can see that's now opened him up to attack from Barry Morrison, and there's an Apex car, and it's all kicking off in the background at Marco. There's Apex cars in there, there's CQR cars in there, there's Simmortal cars in there as well, I believe. That's Michael Blake behind Alex Simpson, and everyone's trying to find their own bit of track as well. That's the Northern Lights Racing car. That's Steve Baxter trying to get by Nathan Davis.
Yeah, we see basically this little pack being led by Alex Simpson there, as everybody's trying to, but he's so close to the car in front, I cannot call this a little bit of a pack, but yeah, a bit of the damage on car number 2 there, maybe a hit in the back of someone like it is expected, I think, in this close quarters combat here at Snetterton 300, as we see Drlica maybe under pressure from Sutton, and he made a little bit of a mistake. Sutton is closing, and this mid-pack here is absolutely furious battle there Also, I think... oh, Sutton is sideways, great save. Gonna lose a bit of time, that could have been a disaster for him.
Don't know if he's just trying to make it more tough for himself or not, but he's now 1.8 seconds away from the lead. He might just be within slipstream territory, but with the pace that he's got anyway, I don't think he should be relying on that too much. He should be able to scythe through this gap if he's quicker. We'll have a look at the lap times when they get back to the line, but Ash Sutton in line for a potential second race victory here. Ashley Blakewood has won in the BSRTC before, as Scott Malcolm and Jake Blackall get pretty close to each other. And I wonder if today could be the day Ashley Blakewood gets back into the winner's circle, as off goes Scott Malcolm at the bomb hole. This will be Jake Blackall through into 4th place, surely. There's just no grip out there, Scott.
Oh, he's around! Great save once again.
Managed to correct that with the throttle. That's what you can do in a front-wheel drive car. If that was a rear-wheel drive car, he could have been drifting across the circuit and crashing into everybody. Here comes Jesper Drilliker to try and take the lead away from Ashley Blakewood. Now this could really help Ash Sutton.
Yeah, but he lost a lot of time there. I don't know what happened. 56.3 for Sutton in this lap, and it was not that mistake alone, because he lost a lot of time in the final part of the track, as we see this side-by-side battle for the first position. Drilliker now in the lead, but he's going to have the outside in the next corner, and I think Blakewood will have the inside and will make the move once again. Yes, he gets back in the lead.
For the information that we're told, Jesper Drilliker driving for Vortex, Ash Blakewood driving for himself. I believe he's a privateer today. Blakewood now moving to the outside, going into the hairpin. See what he can... sorry, Drilliker moving to the outside, going into the hairpin. Blakewood trying his best. He's off. He was on the grass there, on the exit of Agostini, and now through goes Jesper Drilliker into the lead in Hamilton. And now Sutton's really closing in. If you're battling through this part of the circuit, you're really going to invite the car behind to close the gap, and all of a sudden, it's a second between the top three, and Jake Blackall could be in with a shout as well if they continue to battle, and Ash Sutton can't find a way through as we now go onto the Bentley Straight again.
Sutton was 2 seconds behind the leader at the start-finish line of this lap. He clearly made a mistake in the final part of the previous lap, but now look at that, it's going for P2 here at the chicane.
And the lead!
Oh, for P1! Oh man! Oh, that bump again!
Wow! What a move, he's done it!
Oh, amazing stuff there! Amazing stuff, what a move!
Just when you thought he'd done one, and he was so close to hitting that grass on the outside and going off, Ash Sutton takes the lead. How is he going to be caught now? That's the question. It's going to be up to the field behind to try and do something about it, and with half the race complete, Sutton is en route for his first win of the day. It's now going to be all about the battle for second, unless Sutton makes another mistake. You've got Drilliker, you've got Blakewood, you've got Jake Blackall, who's on the recovery drive after losing it whilst leading. And now he's got to try and get past Ashley Blakewood and Jesper Drilliker through the right-hander. The CQR Academy car looks very well set up through here. And if he can just get on the brakes a fraction of a second earlier than Blakewood, which he duly does, he's going for it. But Blake braking a bit later, going a bit more deep into the corner, and they touch.
Hard hit there, still side by side. Blakewood will have the inside, maintain the position. That was a very, very hard hit.
Surely might get a cut back here. Going into Agostini, the hairpin. Hard on the brakes. We'll see if the CQR Academy car could find a way through. Watch out for Barry Morrison as well. He's getting pulled along as well as Jake Blackall here in the battle for best of the rest. Blackall can just carry the car so tightly on the exit of the hairpin. He's able to gain so much time. I wonder if Blakewood might just be struggling with potentially the tyres a bit. I haven't seen the track temperature, but there is a queue starting to form behind. You've got Morrison, and now you've got Chris Wood entering the fray as well. I should also mention that some of the biggest movers that we've got on the field, they might be on your screen. Pete Harrod's gained 12 places, Steve Baxter's gained 12 as well. You can just see them towards the back end of the top 20. Jack Sedgwick's gained 10, Stuart McFadden's gained 11. So they're gradually working their way up. Michael Davis in the Vortex cars also gained 11 places too. So problems there, and of course Wojciech Savidovic. It looks like the damage has repaired itself as off goes Ashley Blakewood, and he's back on the circuit again. So he might be in with a shout of a reverse grid if he's not more than 2 laps down. Blackall then through into third, Marco.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake from Blakewood on the outside there, exiting the chicane and go on the grass there. You have to really control your car, slow down a little bit, and then of course, oh, look at this huge snake of cars going to the final chicane. Some contact there, nice save once again. I think that was Rose making the save. after a little bit of contact there at the final corner. As you see, they are trying to get themselves in order here to get into the first corner. I see we are lap 8 of 11, so not much to go, and of course these all important battles, not only for points, but maybe to get lucky with the reverse grid in a few minutes.
Yeah, 20 is the smallest number, and if that gets drawn at the moment, it'll be Jack Sedgwick that's going to get put on pole position for the final race of the day here at Snetterton. You can see 2 CQR cars there. That's Rusty Laidler, sorry, that's Michael Hall and Pete Harrod. Laidler's the CQR Academy car just in front. You can also see Dave Baker's trying to get past Mark Woodhouse here going into Agostini. Thinks better of it. So Woodhouse in 9th, Baker in 10th. All these drivers have gained positions. You can see Laidler's name glowing in red. A few other drivers' names lighting up in red. That means they've gone off the track, and you can see them just kicking up a bit of the grass and whatnot. Problem for Adam McNally, he's just towed back to the pits. Either that or he's just come into the pits. No, he's towed, so something's happened to McNally out there. And Barry Morrison is getting gradually closer to Ashley Blake Hood, but no way through as of yet as we go on board the Vortex race flow car, braking a little bit later than Blake Hood there. And it's so hard to carry the speed through there. It's almost like that double left-hander at Bahrain, Marco, where you're trying to brake and slow the car down, but you're trying not to lock the tyres and be in danger of going off.
Yeah, a very good corner, that one in Bahrain, in a terrible track. It's very, very difficult to get it right, and you know I spent many years in the F1 simulators trying to get that corner right. Great exit from Morrison here, and he gets the position, I think, on the start-finish straight. You see what a good exit can do for you.
Wonder what Bahrain would be like in these cars. Don't know if iRacing have any plans of scanning that track anytime soon. You can see Barry Morrison as well put in a personal best on that last lap, so that is proof of how he's had the pace to get by Ashley Blake Hood there. And now this means we can quickly look back at this crazy battle. This is lap 9 of 11 now, so when we get to the line, we'll be starting the penultimate lap of the race. And this monumental scrap is all for the final positions inside the top 10. You've got Woodhouse in 9th, Baker in 10th, and then all these cars are on the fringes of the top 10 trying to get back involved again. And Woodhouse is having to drive the widest Kia Optima in Norfolk, I think, as we go into Agostini again, and he's got a champion in Dave Baker right behind him, and Baker will be eager to get some points on the board here, considering Stephen Baxter is down in 17th place, so he'll be hoping to try and close the gap by getting a high finish.
See, Baker is trying to get them moved on, trying to stick his nose on the inside there and here as well. Maybe he gets a good exit here, but I think that Woodhouse has got a better exit now. Of course, the tow will come into play, and at the start-finish line we will have 2 laps to go, so not much time left for Baker if he wants to make a move there.
You can see this is a very good race if you're an AM driver. Jesper Drillicker, the highest of the AMs, up in 2nd place. For 4th is Morrison, he's the 2nd highest. Then Chris Wood, Malcolm, Bodis and Stevens and Laidler, I think, have just exchanged positions. Here you are, this is too wide. This is Stephen Baxter versus Pete Harrod. Might have just got ahead. You can also see Nathan Davis in there as well. That's the Apex car with the green mirrors. And now into the final corner again, which has been reprofiled over the years. And onto the penultimate lap we go. One driver in the background just kicking up the off-track. Another personal best by Barry Morrison. He is 1 second away from Jake Blackwell, so it's going to take a bit of an effort to try and get there. He's only lapping 0.3 of a second quicker. Here comes Stephen Baxter versus Pete Harrod then into the first corner. See if the CQR car can carry the speed around the outside. We saw Sutton being able to do that around the back section of the circuit. And they're going to be almost 2x2 again going into the Wilson hairpin here, and he's invited Davis up the inside as well, Marco.
Yeah, it's all happening here, and you see cars left and right as Woodhouse is still defending from Baker, and this has allowed, I think, the guys in front, Bodis, Malcolm, to get a little bit of a breather, of course, and secure their top 8 finish. Look at that, what's going on here with Baxter, all these guys, Simpson as well, some contact, I think. Everybody trying, you know, of course, the smallest reverse you said is 20, right? So, yeah. You know, you can make a move here it's risky, but sometimes you risk too much and then maybe you get out of the top 20. So, you know, sometimes it's better to, you know, stay as close as possible to the 20th position if you've got, I mean, nothing else to risk at the end of the race. But these drivers, of course, will race until the checkered flag falls, and I think we are getting closer and closer to the white flag because the leaders are getting on the start-finish line, I think. Great battling here. Once again, Baxter, and I think that is Harrod right behind him, with Simpson slightly in front of them as we begin the final lap.
Yeah, that's around about the position for the 20th spot. It was McIntyre for a brief moment, but now it's Stuart McFadden that's back in that 20th place. Ross McFarlane could be the one that misses out if we get a 20. There's no guarantee of us getting that. We could have another full as the white flag is indeed in the air. Jesper Drilica is all of a sudden in danger of losing second place here. Could the tyres potentially be dropping off as we get the final lap? You can see American flag as well, and Blackhall, the Aussie. You couldn't really get two drivers further away in the world as we're two-thirds of the way to go in this one, and Jesper understeering like crazy, and that could allow Jake Blackwell the opportunity around the rest of the laps to try and close the gap down. That's down to 4 tenths now.
Yeah, so in the end Sutton I think is getting his win, but these guys behind him have been battling for so long, and you were right to point out that the AM drivers are behaving extremely well in this race. Maybe also using the fact that this track doesn't provide for too much passing opportunities, but they still held their own, and I think most of them will be happy. Of course, some mistakes here and there, and Rlica is trying to hold on to this second position. Would be very, very good for him, even though Blackwell looking very, very fast. But I think he's a little bit too far away to make a move there, so Jesper will probably hold on to second place.
Indeed, looks like it. Going into the left-hander then. Unless he makes a right pig zero this. He does.
Oh!
Faults the curb, but might just have enough in handle, does he? He has to move across and defend from Drilica. Sorry, defend from Blackhall. It's Drilica doing the defending. Now going through the final 2 corners. Very difficult to get any sort of move done around here. It might have to be a drag race to the line or a last-minute lunge, which I don't think Blackhall's going to be able to do. Through the final corner, Ash Sutton, what a race it's been from him. 18 positions gained. He's going to win the second race of the day here at Snetterton. Second for Jesper Drilica. Third is going to be Jake Blackhall. Fourth, Barry Morrison. Fifth, Chris Wood. And now here come everybody else that are going to be streaming across the line. You can see Alex Simpson's involved in a lot of the action as well. 20th place will go to Ross McFarlane in the end. So someone's dropped down the order late on. It's Jack McIntyre. He's dropped down to 24th late on. So he'll be hoping for a slightly bigger reverse grid. Adeko Lopez started from the pit lane, finished in 27th place in the end. Shows what you can gain if around a track like this where everyone's so closely bunched. Pete Newman also started from the pit lane. He's just come across the line there in 34th. And who else are we waiting for? Here's Lee Deemer. He's going to finish in 40th. It's amazing how quickly we get all these cars across the line, Marco. Everyone's just so tightly bunched around this circuit. We've got a good half a minute or so covering 40 or so cars.
Yeah, we are all waiting for Tyler Vickery to finish his race, and then we'll have the final results on screen for you. Another great race. Sutton got his win after missing out in race 1 due to all the drama that we talked about a lot before. Here's Tyler Vickery, all waiting for him, and now I think we have the final race results on your screen. Once again, we had a very cool racetrack for race 2. We'll see what will happen in race 3. Maybe the weather will throw us a curveball and give us a hot track.
Let's hope so. Or maybe not. In some of the drivers' cases, I don't know whether they'll be too happy about that. It might be follow the leader. We'll wait and see with that one. I've known a few BSRTC races where they've turned on the fog, and that's provided a lot of excitement. That was back in the day when the Kia Optima was insanely tricky on cold tyres. Remember that really well. Right, let's bring up those race results for you then from the second race of the day. Another enjoyable race as always in the BSRTC. There they are. Ash Sutton wins then, 3.9 seconds ahead of Jesper Drilica in the end. Jake Blackwell finishing in 3rd. He was leading at one point, but he went off. Then it was Barry Morrison in 4th, Chris Wood in 5th, Scott Malcolm 6th, Tristan Boddice in 7th, Mark Woodhouse finishing in 8th place in the end. Dave Baker in 9th, and 10th place for Christian Rose. Kip Stevens 11th, ahead of Rusty Laidler in 12th. Then Michael Hall is CQR colleague 13th. Alex Simpson finishing in 14th place in the end. A gain of 9 places for Alex. 13 gains for the championship leader Steve Baxter to finish in 15th place. Then 16th place, 17th place for Pete Howard. Then 18th for Nathan Davis. Then moving on back, 19th for Ross McFarlane, 20th for Nicole Foggy, 21st Sven Glatzel, 22nd Jamie Rushworth, 23rd is Jamie Rushworth, then 24th Jack McIntyre. I think one or two drivers might be missing from this results screen. Then Craig Williams 25th, then George Simmons, Adekoba Lopez, Martin Front, then Jack Sedgwick, Craig Evans, Max Schreitz, Michael Davis, Dan Brown, Pete Newman, and then moving on back, Michael Blake. Then it's Mark Johnston, Rob Graham, Will Daniels, Maciek Sakovic, Lee Deemer, Dave Crozier, Tyler Lugo Vickery, and then the cars that didn't finish the race. Adam McNally, 4 laps down, 0 points. How crucial could that be in terms of showdown points and getting in the showdown for Wojciech Savidovic? We'll have to wait and see when we get to the next race meeting, but that is a 0 for the reigning champion, and he's definitely going to be starting at the back of the grid for the next race, Marco.
Yeah, Ian and McNally not eligible due to being 4 and 9 laps down respectively, so the most we can get is 42, but yeah, the certainty is that those two guys will start at the back.
Right then, it is time for the final reverse grid of the day, and this could be an interesting one. Gonna have to try and work out how to get it on the screen for you all now. A few things were amended during the break. If I do that, then add a display capture. This is being done on the fly, so 2 seconds, and then we bring the reverse grid. Let me move that over here. There we go. There it is. And let's spin the reverse grid to see who's going to be on pole for the final race. It's going to be one of the big ones. It's going to be a full -3. So, Marco, who does that put on the pole for the final race?
I think it will be Maciek Sakovic will finish in P39. There are 3 guys behind him on the lead lap, so I think it should be the one on pole position.
Right then, should be interesting. So Sakovic on the pole for the final race of the day. And in a few moments, and we will take a break now, and when you join us in a few moments, we'll be on the grid, getting set for the final race of the day here in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship at Snetterton. Welcome back to the BSRTC here at Snetterton. Final race of the day coming up. 21 degrees track temperature for this one. Air temperature, I think that is. Oh no, that is track temperature. Yeah, it's the air temperature. It's 18 degrees. So pretty cool. So the tyres shouldn't suffer too much. Adam Buff with Marco Barbanera with you for the final race. Here's the grid. Maciek Sakovic starts on pole position. Second, Will Daniels. Third, Rob Graham. Fourth is Mark Johnston. You can see the top four are all AMs. The top five are all AMs with Michael Blake in fifth. Then sixth is Pete Newman, the highest of the pros. Then Dan Brown, Mike Davis. Then Max Wright, Craig Williams, Jack Sedgwick and Martin Front. Here we go. And away we go. Who's going to be in the lead then? It's going to be a drag race between Sakovic and Daniels going into the first corner. We saw what happened with Drinica and Blake Cudd at the start of race 2. They both slided their way for the first corner. Sakovic nearly does it. Oh, tank slapper there for Will Daniels, and he's just about holds on to it. Here comes Mark Johnson. Oh, that's one of the Vortex cars. That's Michael Davis.
Yeah, and he's going for a ride in the crop, so we were talking about in the beginning of the broadcast. I think as there more drama here, big crash in the back.
Yeah, Automet car involved. That's Scott Malcolm. Wojciech Savidovic, did he make it through it?
Yeah, but he had to basically come to a stop, and he lost a lot of time there.
Yeah, potentially a little bit of damage to the front of his car. Oh, there's cars off everywhere.
Oh God, what's going on here? Terrible crash.
That is one of the Scuderia Haggis cars, I believe, and that's one of the Team Mad cars too. That must be Mark Woodhouse. And what drama here, and another problem for one of the CQR Academy cars. That looks like it's a CQR Academy car with blue on it. That's Pete Newman. Right, let's see if we can try and find out what happened here. Right, we're looking at Woodhouse. This is going through. Oh, there's already cars off. Oh, goodness me, there's cars with slowdowns. And then it all sorts of kicks off as there was a Scuderia Haggis cars all over the place. That was I don't know who that was, but yeah, cars everywhere. And as we come around to complete the first lap, we've got a list of cars in the pit lane. This does mean that Maciek Sakovic leads, Will Daniels second, Mark Johnston third, fourth is Rob Graham, then it's Wright, Brown, Simmons, Lopez, Glatzel, and then it's McFarlane rounding out the top 10. As you can see, the list of cars that we've got in the pits, we've got Blake, we've got Newman, Woodhouse, Sedgwick, Ash Sutton. No chances of him repeating his race 2 success. And it's pretty spread out at the front now, Marco, as we come around to complete the opening lap.
Yeah, Sedgwick was my pick for this race because he was, I think, the best driver of all, but they were starting in the front of the pack due to the reverse. No such hope of wins for him this time around because of that. I think that crash took out a lot of very, very fast drivers, and there were cars all over the place, basically a roadblock, and that basically took place in the mid-pack and back. So a lot of fast cars were involved in that. As we see now, who's going to benefit from this? Of course, you said it right. There's been a bit of a break between the leaders and the rest of the field, and we'll see. For example, we see now Coba Lopez, we know is a very, very fast driver, trying to get a good finish here. And Sakovic, Daniels and Johnson are, I think, something like a couple of seconds in front of fourth place, which is Graham and all the other guys.
Yeah, this is a huge battle for that 5th place. Here comes Glatzel then up the inside of Coba Lopez. Two drivers that know this car pretty well. Coba Lopez won a championship with it, in fact, and Glatzel, who is improving all the time in this car. I wonder if this could be the year that him and the Northern Lights Racing team get a title. That's what extent the CQR that's doing the business. Mark Johnston has gained a position because Will Daniels has, looks like, got a slowdown. Marco, he's in 2nd place. And
it's lap 2, and you know I always say this, so the first 2 laps never get a slowdown because the algorithm is not perfect, and you get a very, very big penalty, especially here when the field is so bunched up. And I think he has not... yeah, he still has to let some other guys go. Look at that.
That's mental. Not particularly fair either. Here comes George Simmons in the Apex Racing UK car. He's got a Daycoba Lopez for company too. Plus the Ultimate Not Kill cars are getting invaded. It's contact. That's what it is. And Simmons goes through past Brown, and he might get past Wright as well as we come across the line. Look at the damage on that Northern Lights Racing Scuderia Haggis car, Dan Brown, as we come across the line to complete the 2nd lap. Here comes Simmons
also see. Sorry. See Coba Lopez with a lot of damage there as well. So definitely some battling here at the around position 5, position 10. all searching for space. I see Glatzel there, trying to make a move as well. This is all playing in favor of the first two, because now, of course, there's a huge gap between the first two and the rest of the pack due to that big slowdown there.
Savinovic might have crashed. Oh, there's something that's kicked off here. Savinovic might have just made his way through. It doesn't look like he's picked up too much damage and all that. It did say on the event viewer on our overlay that he'd crashed, but it looks like nothing's happened. For the lead, Mark Johnston versus Maciek Sakovic. Johnston trying to get the lead done, but the Team Adcar, who's a Club Series champion, another Kia Series from a few years ago, is doing his best to try and hold on to the lead, but he runs very wide through the right-hander through Williams, and how's he going to defend this? I don't think he'll be able to, Marco.
No, he needs to be very, very careful. We saw a lot of guys make a mistake when trying to pass on the inside tonight, so I think it's better for him to slot back and try to work his way maybe through the end of the lap. And I think these two guys should look at the timing and maybe say, okay, let's take a break for a couple of laps and try to maintain this gap from the guys in the back, because those guys in the back are going to fight against each other. I think the only one, it's the guy in third position. I think it should be Graham. He should have a little bit of a break between himself and Simmons, right? Not that much, I think, but yeah, he's in a good position. But yeah, 4 seconds gap between the leaders and these guys here, and they have to work with the clock, I think, the leaders, to maintain this big gap. Oh, he's wide there, Graham.
What could this do then? Into the right-hander then at Wilson. Simmons going to go to the outside. Here comes Copa Lopez up the inside of the other Automet car. So 2 Automet cars about to lose a position in the space of a corner. Now here they come back towards us. Here comes Simmons up the inside. This is going to be for 3rd position. Lopez trying to go around the outside of right for 5th position. And it continues onwards towards Agostini, the hairpin. Simmons in 3rd, but the Automet car trying to go back up the inside of Lopez. That's great for Max Wright. Sticking it to a Copa Lopez here, who gets forced out nearly onto the AstroTurf. What a great battle this is. As we go into Hamilton, the left-hander, Lopez round the outside of Graham now. He will surely get an off-track for that, but I think he's got the position. And Glatzel might try and follow him through as well. And through this part of the circuit, Marco, if you get a car up the inside of you, it's very difficult to try and slot back in, as Max Wright's now finding out.
Yeah, Glatzel gave him a bump 3 or 4 corners ago, and now he completes the move, I think, but Wright as the inside here, so it's not going to be easy, as we see Copa Lopez trying to break away from these 2 guys here. Now, what will they do? Be careful of those curbs, can be very, very dangerous. Huge pack of cars behind them.
Yeah, a little bit of touching in the background. I think that was between Ross McFarlane and Stuart McFadden. 2 Scots there, and now another Scots in Nicole Foggy trying to get in the mix here, and he has done so. He's got past Ross McFarlane and now sits in 10th place, gained 9 places. Alex Simpson's also in there, he's in 12th, he's gained 13, so good job there by the iRacing Road Pro Series champion. And this battle shows no signs of stopping. You know when there's an Automet car in there that it's going to be an entertaining one. They're always great at defending and always seem to do a good job holding on to their positions. I'm sure they'll admit that they're usually beneficiaries of the reverse grid like they are here, but once they get into positions like this, you'll find it's very difficult to get past them, as the Copa Lopez is now finding out. There he goes. But surely Graham will be able to hold on to it. No, he's just going to understeer wide, and there goes Glatzel, Marco.
Yeah, some contact there. Glatzel trying to make the move, but now he has to stay on the outside there. So the tire squealing at every corner. Glatzel is very, very wide, trying to make the move there. See McFadden and all the other guys in the back. Glatzel is trying to pass Graham there. He has to wait a bit, I think. And Copa Lopez, finally, I saw him in practice. He was very, very fast in practice, so I was a bit surprised to see him that far back in both race 1 and race 2. But now, little bit of free track. He's showing, of course, he doesn't need to prove anything. He's a former champion, like you said. He's one of the fastest drivers on iRacing. So we know what he's capable of, and he's looking good, I think, for a podium in this one. Only just 1 place to get on the 3rd step of the podium. The 2 leaders are maintaining a decent gap here, and Glatzel on the outside of Graham under the bridge.
Yeah, going into... Oh, well... That's not going to make the corner. Somehow he does. He vaults over the curb though. That's I think that's the Marco Barbanera line. I think going through there. Oh.
Yeah. Oh,
the two teammates hit each other.
Teammates.
And off goes Graham. He's going to have trouble getting back on there because there's literally no grip out there. But somehow he does, but has lost a few positions as a result, down to 9th place. Now Lopez is all over the rear of George Simmons as a few Northern Lights racing cars go curb hopping. Here is Lopez. He's just behind that Apex Racing UK car, as you can see. Stuart McFadden's all over the place. Rob Graham into the pits, broken car potentially. I think that's Rob Graham. Yes, it is. He's into the pits. Maybe it's either a penalty or he's not putting enough fuel in, or he's got a meatball flag. All of one of those. And Lopez, the Iberian, up the inside, makes the corner just about. Simmons gives him plenty of space, and the Vortex car up into the podium positions. We've got how long we got? We're at half race distance, and he's got to close.
Oh, the leader is in the grass, I think.
He is. We can see the off-track red on the number, and that means that Magic Sakovic regains the lead. Maybe Mark Johnston had it briefly, but Sakovic is now back in front.
So I was just making some mental calculations if Coba Lopez would be able to get back to the leaders, and now this mistake happens, so maybe Lopez will have enough time. There's not a lot of laps left, but maybe we'll have the time to get back to his leaders. So we saw Ash Sutton gain 2 seconds in a single lap on the leaders I think that was the second race of the evening. So nothing is over, and I think if Coba Lopez is fast enough, he could catch these guys, because it looks like they're battling once again.
Yeah, the gap currently sits at 3 seconds between them. Don't know the last time when Adeko Lopez won a race. It might have been some time ago, unless he's won this season when we haven't been doing a broadcast, and for which I apologise. But then here we go, lap 6 of 11, past the halfway mark of this one now, and not too long to go to decide this one. It's just come to 10 o'clock in the evening. Through the final corner, Sakovic runs a bit wide, doesn't trigger the off track though. You can see Lopez in the background. We'll see what lap times they set as they come across the line now. Of course, this is the lap where Johnston went off. Over the line they go. 56.2, 56.9 for Johnston. Adeko Lopez, personal best. Might even be fastest lap of the race, but I think that gets immediately trumped by Sven Glatzel. 54.9 for Koba Lopez, 54.6 for Sven Glatzel, and they're coming. The gap's down to 2.9 seconds now between second and third place, and here they go. They're at it again, Marco.
Yeah, and they are making, of course, Coba Lopez very happy. This battle will bring him closer and closer, and they have to be very careful. Johnston trying to move down the inside here at Agostini. Deep on the brakes. He has the line. Let's see the exit. I think it's a clean move there. Yeah, good move.
Here he goes, back into the lead, Mark Johnston. Can he hold on to it this time? As things stand, we are looking set for an AM driver to win this here at... Oh, not if you do that though.
Wide. No, a bit wide there. And that he will pay the price, I think, here on the backstretch.
It's now down to 2 seconds between the top two and Lopez. The gap's been decreased by about a second as this race continues to unfold. Another problem for Jake Blackhall, it looks like. And that's Blake Hood, because it's got no stripe on it. I should remember that. The Team Ad car in the pits and done for. I can tell you this Wojciech Savidovic, championship leader, has gained 22 positions. He's just outside the top 20. He's in 22nd place. He's got Dave Baker and championship leader Stephen Baxter just in front of him. We can have a look at them actually. Here they are. They're right in the midfield, and I'm sure right now, especially after the 0 that he picked up in race 2, Marco, Wojciech will just be trying to make sure they can get to the end here and get some points on the board.
Yeah, remember he had to basically come to a stop in the very first lap to avoid the carnage unfolding in front of him, so he has lost a lot of time there. Nice recovery drive here, and a top 20 would be, of course, very, very good for him. He is always expecting to be in the front, but sometimes you gotta take what the race gives to you, and he is doing a very, very good job.
Here's Lopez. He's getting there, isn't he? The gap is down to 1.2 seconds between first and second. Sorry, second and third.
Yeah, getting closer and closer, getting good exit. And the good thing for us, of course, for the entertainment value, is that Simmons is coming right with him. So we might have a 4-way battle for the race win. And Glatzel maybe will also get involved as well if all four of these guys will begin to battle with each other.
Just hoping this this prime now delivery doesn't get here before the end of the race, because this is turning into a bit of a thriller here to decide the winner. You can see last time around it was Brown in 8th that had the quickest lap out of any. Was it? Oh no, that was his personal best, I should say. It's green if you set a new personal best. Fastest lap of the race goes to George, not to George Simmons. That's Alex Simpson in 10th place. He's the only driver to lap in the 153s in that top 20. So good job there from Alex. He's on for a top 10 at the moment. Could be more. As here we go down the straight again. Here is the intervals. It's just under a second now, and maybe down that Bentley straight, Jacobo Lopez can start to pick up a bit of a toe as he starts to close in. When we get to the line, there's going to be 3 laps to go. Lap 9, lap 10, and then lap 11. So we've got roughly about 6 minutes to decide the winner of this final race of the day, and any 4 of these drivers could win it. We've got 2 AM drivers leading the way in Mark Johnston and Maciek Sakovic, driving for Sim Orsel and Team Mad, who unfortunately for them they don't pick up enough wins, but they'd love to get it done here today. Vortex and Apex in 3rd and 4th. Apex Racing UK already have taken a victory today. Jacobo Lopez, new personal best, 54.9. Simmons would like to make it 2 wins tonight for the Apex Racing UK team, and look at that, Jacobo Lopez down to 0.3 of a second. It might happen this lap. It's all going to be about whether he can, when and where he can get the moves done, and whether Maciek Sakovic can put up a defensive drive. And I'm sure Mark Johnston's hoping that he'll do that, Marco, because it'll mean he can stretch his legs at the front.
Yeah, Simmons had a little bit of a mistake there in turn 1, I think, and lost a bit of ground to Lopez. He should be able to catch up to him as soon as he starts battling with Sakovic there on the inside. Jacobo Lopez, the leader is a bit wide as well. Lopez makes the move.
There you go, up into 2nd place. That took no time at all. That took half a lap. Now it's all going to be about, oh, Mark Johnston's off. Picks up an off track there. That's just going to only exasperate things, make him a bit more tense behind the wheel, maybe a bit more erratic. We'll wait and see. Not often an AM driver takes a victory in the BSRTC, but Jacobo Lopez is a man on a mission here as we come out of Williams and onto the Bentley straight. Pon for Max Wright. He is off the track. You can see him disappearing. It might be a disqualification. Not too sure, but he's dropping down the timing screen at a fair rate of knots as Mark Johnston is having to soak up the pressure now. When we get to the line, we're going to be starting the penultimate lap of the race, and it's a race against time to decide who's going to win this one as we go through the bomb hole and towards the final few corners of the lap. Wojciech Savidovic, after all that, is now up into 19th place. You can just see him on the timing screen in 19th there. Dave Baker behind him. We get 2 laps to go now to come across the line. Let's see what lap times these guys are setting again. Over the line they go. 56 dead for Johnston, 55.2. Personal best this time from George Simmons. Lopez, he's taking such a tight line through there. He vaults over the curb, so too does George Simmons. He goes off as a result. That's going to be tough slowing the car down. Lopez looks to the inside. Johnston goes a bit wide, but Lopez cannot find a way through just yet. He's going to have a few more opportunities this lap, and then one more lunge on the final lap of the race.
Great driving there. Lopez tried to make the move, but it was very, very risky place to make the pass. Simmons went very wide, but still maintained the position and the gap to the car in front. But I think he's losing some precious time. I think he has the speed to battle with Jacobo Lopez, but he's sitting behind Sakovic, who is rightfully defending his position. So for the moment, Lopez and Johnston battling for the win, and I have to say Johnston is defending very, very well.
See how much longer he can defend for as we go for the right-hander. On to the Bentley straight again. You can see all 4 of them under the chopper here as we go down the straight. Pun for Michael Hall. He's off the track. He's just dropping down the order. So Michael Hall, CQR car, dropping outside the top 20. So something's happened to Michael Hall. This will elevate Alex Simpson up another place. He's up into... where is Alex actually? I can't see.
Where is Alex?
Alex is down in 21st place, so something's happened there. Alex was in 10th. Yeah. So something's happened there, but we'll have to focus on this battle at the front. This will elevate Savidovic up another place. He's up to 16th now. Don't know if he's had to overtake any cars in all of that, or he's just benefited from it all as a result. Right, final corner. Going to get a white flag when we get to the line. Final lap of the day from here at Snetterton. Onto the centre straight. Lopez in the wheel tracks. There's the white flag. Final lap. He's defending the inside. He's now going to move back across Mark Johnston, which he is allowed to do. But Lopez takes a very tight line through the first corner. It's all going to be about the hairpin now. Johnston covers the inside line. And it's going to be Lopez going to the outside, and Johnston does a great job of covering him off. He's going to try and get the move done around the outside Lopez, but I don't think he'll do it. He's going to come back out the inside here. Now, is that going to force Johnston into going wide? No, it isn't. And he might just have a few tenths of a second in hand here when we go into Agostini, and now Maciek Sakovic fancies his chances.
Wow, great defending job. Kobalovs with a dive bomb there. He has to break at the last second. Maybe has a good run out of here. No, he doesn't.
Just that's these overtaking opportunities just keep getting ticked off. Look at the speed he carried through there. This might be it. No, he doesn't. He ducks back to the outside.
Oh, the slowdown.
Oh,
be careful there.
Oh, my head was in my hands then for a moment. I thought he'd done it. He might be serving it, you know. I think he's serving it. He's going through that right-hander. He was on the brakes very early there. And I think he's still trying to do it, you know. And Lopez was bump drafting him down the back straight. We've got half a lap to go to decide this. Lopez, we've seen Sutton do this outside move going into the left-hander. Johnston, Lopez touch. They touch again.
Oh, a crash. And he's out of the way.
Yeah, that's bump and run, I think. Now it's up to Sakovic to try and avenge him, potentially. Through the right-hander we go. There's only a few corners left in this one, and it's going to be, just like in race 1 at the start of the evening, the bump and run to decide it. We reckon Savidovic will get some points docked because of what he did to Sutton. Can Sakovic do something? He nearly did. But they won't be able to do anything about Lopez now. Adekova Lopez is racing towards victory here. And he's going to win the final race of the day here at Snetterton. Second for Sakovic, third for Simmons, fourth for Foggy. What a race by Nicole Foggy to gain 15 positions. Then Mark Johnston finishing 5th, Glatzel 6th, Ross McFarlane 7th, 8th Dan Brown, 9th Jamie Rushworth, 10th for Nathan Davis as they all stream across the line.
Now we'll have to wait and see until everybody is past the start-finish line if Johnston completed this slowdown, because I think he got a slowdown there. I think with the off-track that he had, he served it, unfortunately, but he cut a lot of that corner there, and that usually gets you a slowdown. Of course, the last lap is I think, when you're in a battle for the lead, the worst time to get it, apart from the beginning of the race.
I think that's everyone across the line. So, what a crazy race that was, and what a fantastic job it was by Adekova Lopez. He was about 3 seconds away from them at one point. Now he's been able to close the gap and was able to take the lead as well for the bump and run. He might get some points docked as a result, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. So, without further ado, let's bring the results up on screen. Race victory for Adekova Lopez, 2nd for Maciek Sakovic, 3rd for George Simmons, 4th for Nicole Foggy, 5th Mark Johnston, 6th for Sven Glatzel, 7th for Ross McFarlane, 8th for Dan Brown, 9th Jamie Rushworth, and 10th for Nathan Davis. Stuart McFadden finishing in 11th, 12th for Pete Harrod, 13th place for Will Daniels, 14th for Christian Rose, Wojciech Savidovic finishing in 15th place. And Marco, would you be able to read the rest of the results out, please?
Yeah, where were we? I was checking 15th. The time. 15th, okay, so we have Rusty Layler in 16th, and Steve Baxter is in 17th, and Craig Williams is in 18th position. Then after that, of course, we have David Baker in 19th, Jack McIntyre is in 20th, Blackhall is 21st, Bod is 22nd, Kip Stevens 23rd, Barry Morrison is in 24th position, then Alex Simpson in 25th, after having a good race in the top 10 for the entire night, and Michael Hall 26th, Michael Davis 27th, and Craig Evans is in 28th, Scott Malcolm 29th, and in 30th position, Adam McNally. Then, after him, we have Lee Deemer in 31st, David Crozier in 32nd, and Max Wright in 33rd, Ashley Blackwood in 34th position, and Rob Graham, Tyler Vickery is in 36th, Michael Blake 37th. Of course, all of these guys have had problems during the race. Pete Newman 38, Jack Sedgwick is in 39th position, Martin Front in 40th position, and Mark Woodhouse 41st, Chris Wood 42nd, Jasper Dlika 43rd, and Ash Sutton is in 44th and final position. So I think that was everybody in this third race, as we are waiting for some drivers for the interviews, and it has been once again a great meeting here in the BSR Pro Series. All the drama, all the excitement, and there will be, of course, they will be talking for days and days about what happened at the final. That chicane was basically a calamity corner, and all the drama happened there. But apart from that, some amazing racing as we usually get on Thursday nights here on Apex Racing TV.
Right then. Since there's no interviewees, I think we might just wrap it up. So, yeah, Marco, what fantastic 3 races that has been.
Yeah, I don't always get the chance to commentate on the BSRTC Pro Series, as I think... Wait a minute, because we have...
I'll let you ask Alex Simpson the questions, because I've just got to run off again. But, yeah, we've got Alex Simpson in for a quick interview. I'm sure, Marco, you'll be able to ask him about what happened towards the end of that final race, where he dropped from 10th down to 20th.
Well, the other day Alex was interviewing me, and now the roles are reversed, Alex. So welcome. Welcome to the booth. No, just one quick question. What happened in race 3? Because we were sitting nicely, and then you disappeared basically from the scoring table, and you went from, I think, 10th to the 20th, mid-20th position. What happened there?
Yeah, I was just having a little battle with Max Wright, I think it was at the time. Yeah, we just made a little bit of contact. I think Max was kind of out of shape pretty much for the whole lap, just because kind of he was just sort of defending and I was on the outside or the inside or whatever, and he's swapping around. And yeah, he just swung across after Hamilton, and I was already on the outside, and he made contact with me. That gave me suspension damage. Unfortunately, I think it disqualified him as well. So I thought it was a bit... had I known he was on that kind of instant level, it's just, well, I don't know, chalk and cheese, I guess. I wouldn't be defending like that, I suppose, with 1-4x away from disqualification. But everyone's prerogative, isn't it? So yeah, it's a shame that he got disqualified, and a shame I lost some places. We could have had a good battle, and you know, had a good result with just a bit of screws in the right place, kind of thing. So yeah, a bit disappointed with it, actually. I'm trying to be diplomatic and not and yeah, not hammer at Max, because it was a good battle right up there, and the little contact was so small. It was just a shame that it cost both of us so dear.
And what about next week? The series is going to Mid-Ohio, so to North America, and I think to a track that will play a little bit different than this one.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know, actually, if it will be different. I mean, I do like the circuit. I've had a lot of fun there in the past, in like the IndyCar and things like that. So, should be interesting. Of course, completely different. I've never, well, half of these tracks I've never drove in the Kia, so it's something I'll have to learn again, where how to really attack that. But I think it will be very, very similar. Tonight was very frustrating. The straights are so short here. We're constantly accelerating. It's really difficult to get runs on people. To make a move, and you know, if you're kind of on the outside, the corners seem to always favor the person on the inside as well. So you know, it can be quite easy to defend as well. So you're kind of waiting for mistakes, and I think that's going to be exactly the same at Mid-Ohio. Just you know, you're just going to put pressure on the guy ahead, look for the opening. You know, just try and poke your nose in there without being too aggressive if you can, and yeah, go from there. But it should be fun. But I feel like it'll be much the same as I had this week.
Okay, Alex, before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Well, you guys for the broadcast, as always. Thank you, Marco, for covering. And yeah, just to all the guys over at you know, the Kia Apex Racing UK team. It's been a good few weeks, actually. I know I've been away, but you know, it's I feel like we're on the up. The results are starting to come. Performance is starting to come, and we've you know, we're looking good come the showdown, I think, to really get in there and compete, which is what we really were after.
Okay, thank you, Alex, and we'll catch you, I think, next Thursday for the race at Mid-Ohio.
Cheers, guys.
And now I think that we have Stuart McFadden. Am I right?
No.
Nope. Who do we have?
Yes, you do.
So, of course, it's been. Tell me about your race meeting tonight. How was it? How about the different racing and the three race 1, race 2, race 3? How did it go for you?
Tonight was actually very, very positive. After the past couple of weeks I've had with penalties and stuff, and it was really, really good. Good points. Good points for the team as well. We done really, really well. Try to climb my way back up for the championship. But the racing was just. I thought the racing wasn't. It was going to be, well, carnage is the wrong word, but it's the right word in this context. I thought it was going to be like a wee bit of bishing and bashing, a wee bit of crashing, especially going to that hairpin in lap 1. But everyone was clean. So we just kind of tried to stay out of trouble and just pick up where other people made mistakes and other people spun off and we had contact and stuff like that. So yeah, night was really, really good.
What about next week then at Mid-Ohio? No track with all different. I think this track here, Snetterton, is very, very flat. Even though it looks easy on paper, it's very, very difficult. All the corners present different challenges. And when we go to Mid-Ohio, if I remember correctly, the track has a little bit of up and down.
Yeah, it's got a lot of undulations, yeah.
Yeah, but still, like this, it's a track where you don't have a lot of chances to make a move.
No, and the Snetterton has got a lot of long sweeping corners that absolutely kill the tyres. Whereas Mid-Ohio's a lot of kind of short turns. But also with Mid-Ohio, some of the corners you go over a bit of a hill, so then the tyres spin and then they just kind of kill themselves. But I'm looking forward to Mid-Ohio. It's a good track. So yeah, look forward to it.
Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Just my team, CQR, absolutely flawless again tonight. With the setup was absolutely on point. Loved it. Could push the car as much as I wanted to, even in the race. Still had the confidence in the latter part of the races to kind of push for positions. So yeah, thanks to them.
Okay, thank you very much, and I think we will see you in 1 week at Mid-Ohio.
Hopefully. See you soon.
Marco, thanks for talking to Stuart McFadden there. And I think that is it in terms of the interviews. And what a fantastic race meeting as always. It's been in the BSRTC. We are just about out of time here at Snetterton. So, well, thanks to Marco for joining me and stepping inside the commentary booth while Andrew Woodhouse feeling a bit under the weather, I think. And hopefully he'll be back next week. But it's been great to share the booth with you again and cover the crazy racing that is the BSRTC. I think there's never a dull night whenever the BSRTC is on. But yeah, we'll be back next week when we head to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, another similar track with similar traits. So we could be seeing some of the great racing that we're seeing here tonight at Snetterton. But again, my thanks to Marco for joining me in the commentary box, and make sure you give us a subscribe and a like as well, so that you make sure that you cannot miss any of the action on Apex Racing TV. But for now, from me and from Marco here at the Snetterton circuit and the BSRTC, bye for now.